7 tips to go carnivore. Beast mode. Let's delve into it. Tip number 1. Remove all processed foods and stick to a whole food diet. Stick to a whole food diet and eat just whole foods as your main source. Throw out all the junk. Do not buy any more junk. And that is tip number 1. Tip number 2. Remove all grains, seeds, nuts, legumes, stuff like that, and stick to a meat, fruit, and vegetable diet. Tip number 3. Remove all plants and stick to a animal-based way of eating. Tip number 4. As you slowly transition, go to a ketogenic diet and slowly progress over time, as you will experience keto flu, that is the adaptation phase. Constipation and diarrhea might occur, but you have to depend. If you're having more constipation, eat more fat. If you're having more diarrhea, lower the fat. You need a 1-to-1 ratio with fat and protein. And by sticking to an animal-based way of eating, if you're thriving and you feel really good on this animal-based way of eating, stick to that. But if you're still not, we're going to go on to tip number 5 in 1 second. But let's carry on to tip number 4. So, plan most of your meals around meat, but have some fruit here and there on the animal-based way of living. But remove all plants and you will start to thrive. Tip number 5, remove all fruits from your diet completely. Remove all fruits and supplement with electrolyte supplements, as when you transition, you will urinate a lot of electrolytes. So supplement with electrolytes as you can transition into the carnivore way of eating. And as you can just transition, you might either gain or lose some weight, but eventually it will maintain. But you have to go through the adaptation phase before it gets better. So do not give up. But tip number 5, remove all fruits and stick to a carnivore diet. You can have dairy, honey, meat, poultry, white meats, red meats, ruminant animals, fish, eggs, salt, water, and go carnivore. But we're going to move on to tip number 6 soon. But by eating the way of a carnivore lifestyle, some people, if you go into it head first, cold turkey, you are going to experience a lot of worse symptoms. But if you go slowly transition, it might be easier for you. But if you can't transition slowly, go cold turkey. But you will most likely experience keto flu. That's all it is, keto flu. No harm, chest pain. I had a little bit of chest pain. It went away. Acid reflux. So I advise to avoid eating if you're about to work out or something. Avoid eating avoid working out while you have food in your stomach. Train beforehand on an empty stomach, because this fills you up. You're going to probably get acid reflux, or you're going to get issues with your stomach and you're going to think it's not working. No, you're just doing exercise and you're just getting indigestion and acid reflux. So eat until you're comfortably full and then just don't eat again. You don't have to eat like 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. Just eat until you're comfortably full. You could maybe eat once, twice, but just eat until you're full. Maybe you might not eat until the next day in the evening. But if you don't want to have food comas, you will if you eat a lot of high fat and high protein, because your body takes a while to digest it. Eat smaller separate meals during the day and eat one big meal during the evening, as it will be better for your gut health. to eat meat and to go carnivore. So we're moving on to tip number 6. Tip number 6 is that fruits can be good. A lot of fruits are chemically made and injected and made to sweeten up. A lot of food is fake food nowadays, like a lot of fruit is. But with carnivore, you have honey and dairy. Some people still can't tolerate dairy. So I advise cutting dairy would bring a lot more benefits. And also, honey is kind of an animal byproduct, but it is from pollen, so we wouldn't really count it as an animal byproduct. So cutting honey as well would be beneficial because honey is high in sugar, high in carbs, and you're trying to remove the carbs because you're a carboholic or you're a sugar addict. You need to cut out honey if you can't tolerate carbs. And with dairy, yeah, sure, you can have butter, cheeses, hard dairy, low lactose. You can have hard cheeses, but 70% of the population is lactose intolerant. So as we grow, we need dairy to grow. But when we are older and we stop growing, we don't need as much dairy to carry on aging. We don't need more dairy. Some people can tolerate it. That's good. Some people won't crave sugar by eating dairy or honey. That's okay. You can have those things. Unless if you're having problems, I advise you to eliminate both of them and you will start thriving on a carnivore. I advise you to eliminate honey first. And then I advise you to eliminate milk and cream and whipped cream and liquid forms, yogurts and kefir and all that. And then maybe have some ghee or have some hard cheese, raw cheeses, or have some butter, blocks of butter. But eventually I advise you to remove them both and go strict carnivore and elimination to heal your gut. And if you want to reintroduce foods later on in the future, reintroduce one food at a time. Probably start with dairy or honey. And slowly over time, you can reintroduce foods. But if you don't and you're thriving and a lot of things mess up your GI issues, stay carnivore, you will start thriving, you will heal so many issues. You got autoimmune issue, boom, it's going to be healed. You got chronic leg pain, boom, it's going to be healed. You've got puffiness in your face, you're bloated all the time, boom, it's going to be healed. So, but like I always say, we're going to move on to tip number 7. Last tip. Tip number 7 is, yep, you're carnivore now, right? But I'm saying, this is tip number 7. Do not start a carnivore way of eating if you are already thriving and you have no GI issues, no issues with your stomach, no chronic back pain, no migraines, headaches, no bodily issues. You have no autoimmune issues. You have nothing wrong with your body. You're thriving. You're not diabetic. You don't have insulin resistance. You don't have cancer. You don't have any of these. If you're thriving on the way you're eating, carry on. Do not change it. You're thriving. Okay. Maybe get your blood work checked. Maybe get checked at a doctor. See if your internal is like you might be getting leaky gut or you're irritating or inflammation or thing. You see inflammation, that's not good. Something's wrong with your GI. Your breast smells, that's not good. Something's wrong with GI. You got acne, something's wrong with your body. Your body's telling you that something's wrong. Especially when you get stomach pain, something's wrong. Your body's telling you you don't want this. When you get diarrhea or constipation or you have bad stomach, something's wrong. When you have acne, something's wrong. When you have back pain, something's wrong. When you get cancer, something's wrong with your body. You're eating processed foods. So if you're thriving on the way you're eating, not if you're eating a balanced diet or junk food, no. I advise a whole natural, one ingredient diet. I advise that strictly for everyone. And you will be thriving on that if it's a whole food Mediterranean way of eating. But if you can't thrive on that, or the sugars cause you to be a carboholic and eat other food, I advise keto, animal-based. Try paleo. try primal diet. Try carnivore. Try lion. Lion is a bit too extreme because you can start causing yourself issues with the lion diet because your body starts to urinate out so many electrolytes, and your body, you might get lots more heart palpitations. It just doesn't work for many people. Personally, I've tried lion myself for like a good week or two. It wasn't that long, but I started getting so many issues, so I stuck back to carnivore. But the thing is here, I started getting my stomach pain back, I started getting heart palpitations, chest pains, I started just feeling tired, fatigued all the time, headaches, brain fog. This was on lion, by the way. I was drinking water, having salt, having beef, and I started experiencing issues. So being too extreme might not work. Carnivore, yes. Carnivore without honey and dairy, perfect. So, but if you're thriving on the way you're eating, if you're eating a whole foods way of eating, you're eating Mediterranean, you're eating keto, you're eating paleo, or if you're a raw vegan, or raw vegans, you need protein somehow. So if you're a raw vegetarian, you're eating fish and eggs, then okay, that's alright. You're getting protein, and you're eating honey and dairy. You're getting protein, that's fine if you don't want to kill the animals. When you're going to kill that something anyway, you're going to kill the plants. And if you're eating paleo, primal, Mediterranean, any way of eating what is a whole food, natural ingredients, and it's not any processed food, junk food, crap, no drugs, caffeine, coffee, tea, what else are they put in the shop? Sugar is a drug, bro. It's literally a drug. But if you're eating whole food, natural foods, and you're thriving, do not change anything. But if you are not, you need to find your way of thriving. Your way of thriving might be different to mine. You may have alpha G syndrome and you may not be able to tolerate red meat, but you may be able to eat raw vegan, and you will need supplements. But if you may be able to eat raw vegetarian, I wouldn't even advise that. If you have alpha omega-3, alpha G syndrome, just don't eat red meat, just eat a whole food way of eating, and boom, you'd be thriving. But if you really want to be raw vegan or raw vegetarian, don't advise raw vegan. But if you're raw vegetarian, just don't eat the crap, the junk food. Just don't eat the fake meats. Just don't eat that. And if you want to be paleo, keto, you're thriving on whatever way you're thriving on eating. If you're not eating any of the junk food, you're going to thrive anyway. And if you feel good in your body, you're thriving, you look good, you feel good, your body tolerates it, then stick to it. Don't change it, because you might cause more issues in the long term. But if you're not thriving, change the way you're eating, and you will change your life. So, that's me done. See you guys later. Go carnivore, as I always say. Thrive and stay strong. Peace. Love you guys. Bye.